A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima. Innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima. Innaka Hamidum Majid. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا زدنا علما يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك آمين. Surah Al-An'am, part number 3, in which we will do today from verse number 59 till 90. وعنده مفاتيح الغيب لا يعلمها إلا هو ويعلم ما في البر والبحر وما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين. With him are the keys of the unseen, about which none besides him has any knowledge. He knows what is on the land and within the oceans. He is aware of every leaf falling from a tree, every grain in the darkness of the earth, and every moist and dry thing is in the clear book. Now, verse number 60. وَهُوَ الَّذِي يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَيَعْلَمُ مَا جَرَحْتُمْ بِالنَّهَارِ ثُمَّ يَبْعَثُكُمْ فِيهِ لِيُقْضَىٰ أَجَلٌ مُّسَمًّى ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ مَرْجِعُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُنَبِّئُكُم بِمَا كُنتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. He is the one who raises your souls by night, knows that what you do by day, and awakens you to complete the fixed terms. Then unto him is your return, and he shall inform you of what you used to do. In numerous verses of the Quran, Allah has summed up His knowledge by saying, He has knowledge of everything. Allah says in Surah Taghabun, He knows what is in the heaven and earth, heavens and the earth. The knows what you hide and what you disclose. Allah knows the secrets of your hearts. Verse number 4. Allah says in Surah Yunus, verse 61, not even the equivalent of the weight of an atom is the heavens, and the earth escapes Allah. In a verse of Surah Maida, Allah says, this is so that you may know that to Allah belongs what is in the heavens and what is in the earth, and that really Allah has knowledge of all things. Verse number is 97. A verse in Surah Talaq, that is 12, reads, Verily the knowledge of Allah encompasses everything. Allah says in a verse of Surah Naml, Say, none in the heavens and the earth has knowledge of the unseen besides Allah. They do not even know when they will be resurrected. Verse 65. In the verses under discussion, Allah declares, With him are the keys of the unseen, about which none besides him has any knowledge. He knows what is on the land and within the ocean. He has knowledge of the millions of creatures and their spices in the entire universe. Besides this, he is aware of every leaf falling from a tree, every grain in the darkness of the earth, and every moist and dry thing is in the clear book, that is, the Lawh-e Mahfuz, the protected tablet. Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas ta'ala anhu has mentioned that moist things refer to things that grow, whereas dry things refer to those things that do not grow. Other commentators state that the moist and dry refer to everything in the universe because all bodies are either wet or dry in nature. Another opinion is that wet refers to animate things, beings, while dry denotes inanimate objects. Allah does not need to record all these things in the Lawh-e Mahfuz because He possesses the knowledge Himself. The reason for recording it so that the angels may read their instructions from it. Another reason is so that people have the conviction that all their actions have been recorded. It is called the Lawh-e Mahfuz, protected tablet, because it cannot be altered and because the shayateen, plural of shaitan, cannot gain access to it. narrated by Ruhul Mani, Volume 7, page 172. The knowledge of the unseen is only with Allah, and He may confer some of it to whomsoever He desires. Knowledge that is acquired through the agency of some medium is not regarded as knowledge of the unseen. It is an ignorant claim to say that Meteor- meteorologists and doctors have knowledge of the unseen because they are able to tell which rain will fall, whether a fetus is male or female. These factors are determined by means of instruments, sonar equipment, and physical signs like wind, direction, and moisture content in the air. These are merely predictions and have been proven incorrect on innumerable occasions. Allah's knowledge is infallible and not dependent on instruments. Before the creation of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Allah already knew the number of his offsprings and exactly who will be male and who will be female. Nowadays, this can be determined by means of instruments after the fetus has developed genital organs. He is the one who raises your souls by night. That is, Allah puts people off to sleep at night, thereby taking control of their souls. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Sleep is the sister of death," narrated by Mishkat, page number 500. Knows what you do by day. Allah has mentioned this because people generally sleep at night and work during the day. However, Allah is just as aware of the deeds of those who sleep by day and work at night. Being awake and sleeping are like the life and death that every individual experiences separately. However, when Qiyamah arrives, it will be the death for all. Sleep is like an imaginary death, and then when a person appointed hours arrives and has fixed term expires, the real death overtakes him and awakens you by day to complete the fixed term. Thereafter, then a person leaves this temporary abode. Allah reminds him, then unto him is your return, and he shall inform you of what you used to do. Allah draws people's attention to the realization that they should concern themselves not only with their worldly lives, but they must also prepare for the akhirah hereafter as well. Now, four more verses. 61. وهو القاهر فوق عباده ويرسل عليكم حفاظا حتى إذا جاء أحدكم الموت توفته رسلنا وهم لا يفرطون. He is mighty over his bondsmen and sends guardians angels to you until the time comes when death overtakes any of you. Then our messengers extract his soul without. 62. ثم ردوا إلى الله مولاهم الحق ألا له الحكم وهو أسرع الحاسبين. Then they are returned to Allah, their true master. Lo, judgment is his, and he is the most swift of those who take reckoning. 63. قل من ينجيكم من ظلمات البر والبحر تدعونه تضرعا وخفية لئن أنجانا من هذه لكونن من الشاكرين. Say, who shall rescue you from the darkness of land and sea, when humbly and secretly you call unto him, saying, most surely if you save us from this, we will definitely be of the grateful one. 64. قل الله ينجيكم منها ومن كل كرب ثم أنتم تشركون. Say, Allah shall rescue you from it and from every other difficulty. Then do you ascribe partners to him? Allah describes himself in these verses saying, He is mighty over his bondsmen. None can overpower Allah, and He is at liberty to treat them as He pleases, and sends guardians angels to you. This refers to the angels who record a person's deeds. As mentioned in Surah Infitar, verses 10, 11, and 12, verily, There are guardians upon you who are noble and recording. They know what you do. Other commentators are of the opinion that these are those angels that Allah sends to protect people, as mentioned in Surah Rad. For everyone, there are angels ahead of him and following behind him, protecting him. Verses 11. The broad context of the verse includes both of the above categories of angels. Those recording actions record both the good and the evil deeds. Allah says in Surah Kaf, there is a guardian ready for everything a person says. Verse number 18. Hazrat Abu Huraira Raziallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the angels of the day and angels of the night alternatively come to you. They gather after the salahs of Fajr and Asr. When the angels who spend the night with you ascend to the heavens, Allah asks them, even though He has perfect knowledge of this bondsman, in what condition do you leave my servants? They reply, when we left them, they were performing salah. When we reached them, they were also performing salah. Narrated by Mishkat, page 62 from Bukhari and Muslim. Until the time comes when death overtakes any of you, then our messengers, that is, angel of death, extracts his soul. The angels that are daily sent to people carry out tasks throughout the lifetime of these people. Eventually, when their terms expire and the time comes for them to die, the angels of death came to extract their souls. The author of Ruhul Mani, volume 7, page 116, reports from Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas ta'ala anhu, that the messengers in this verse refer to the angel of death. They extract the souls without oversight. Then they are returned to Allah, their true master. Lo, judgment is His, and He is the most swift of those who take reckoning. Because of the different actions and spiritual conditions of people, some will have a quick reckoning while others will be detained for a longer period. Allah, though, has the power to take reckoning of everyone in an instant if He pleases. Say, who shall rescue you from the darkness of land and sea? Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas ta'ala anhu has interpreted this to refer to the various trials and difficulties of life. During such trials times, even the idolaters turn to Allah, and humbly and secretly they supplicate to Allah thus, most surely if you save us from this, we will definitely be of the grateful ones. Say, Allah shall rescue you from it and from every other difficulty, then do you ascribe partners to Him. They promise to mend their ways, but when Allah delivers them from their difficulties, they forget their promises and continue to commit shirk. This is as Allah says in Surah An-Kabut, when they board a ship, they supplicate to Allah, sincerely devoting their worship for Him. But when He rescues them to land, they again begin to ascribe partners to Him, to show ingratitude for the things we gave them and to enjoy. Soon they will come to know. Verse number 65 and 66. Such is the psychology of the mushrikeen. In time of ease, they commit shirk, and at times of difficulty, they turn to Allah. Now, verse number 65. Kul huwal qadiru ala an yab'atha alaykum azabun min fawqikum aw min tahti arjulikum aw yalbisakum shay'an wa yuzika ba'dakum ba'sa ba'z. Unzur kayfa nusarrifu al-ayati la'allahum yafqahun. Say He is able to send a punishment to you from above or from beneath your feet, provoke you to divide into various factions and taste of each other brutality. See how we elucidate the verses so that they understand. 66. وَكَذَّبَ بِهِ قَوْمُكَ وَهُوَ الْحَقُّ قُلْ لَسْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ بِوَكِيلٍ. Your people deny this when it is the truth. Tell them, I am not an overseer unto you. 67. لِكُلِّ نَبَإٍ مُسْتَقَرٌ وَسَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. For every proclamation there is a fixed term, and you shall soon come to know. The previous verses made mention of calamities at sea when people turn to Allah but they forget Him. That was only one example of Allah's punishment. Otherwise, He is able to send a punishment to you from above. As it occurred in the past, certain nations were destroyed with a shower of stones, a terribly destructive rainstorm, or when Hazrat Jibreel gave a devastating shriek from the heavens, causing objects and hearts to shatter. Allah is also able to send a punishment from beneath your feet in the form of floods, sinkholes, earthquakes, etc. These are only examples, but Allah is capable of punishing from all six directions. Rasulullah sallallahu is reported to have made the following dua: O Allah, protect me from the front, from behind, from my right, from my left, and from above. I seek protection with your grandeur that I should not be destroyed from below. Narrated by Mishkat, page 210. Allah says in Surah Mulk, have you taken security from him in the heavens that he causes you to sink in the earth, then it is convulsed? Or have you taken security from him in the heavens that he showers stones upon you? So soon you will come to learn of my warning. That verses are 16 and 17. Or provoke you to divide into various factions and taste of each other's brutality. The commentator Abdul Barakat Nasafi Rahmullah writes in his tafsir Madaritul Tanzil, volume 2, page 17, that Allah is capable of dividing people into numerous factions, each having conflicting ideas and desires and following their own leaders. It will only be in war and battle that they will ever come together. In this way, each will suffer at the hands of the other. This is a great punishment that neither descends from the heavens nor emerges from the earth. It happened to the nation of the past and is evident in his ummah as well. Hazrat Zaid bin Aslam Tabi Rahimullah said that when this verse was revealed, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, do not divide into factions after me, decapitating each other with your swords. Hazrat Hassan Rahimullah mentioned that a punishment to you from above or from beneath your feet is addressed to the mushrikeen or to provoke you to divide into various factions and you taste of each other's brutality is addressed to the mu'mineen, narrated by Darul Mansoor, volume 3, page 20. Hazrat Sa'd Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu narrates that once Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed the masjid of Bani Muawiyah and performed 2 rakat salat there. The Sahaba Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhum also performed 2 rakat salah with him. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made a lengthy dua and then told them, I asked my Rabb for 3 things, 2 of which are accepted and the third was refused. I asked my Rabb not to destroy my ummah by drought, and this was accepted. Then I asked my Rabb not to drown my ummah, and he accepted this as well. When I asked that my ummah should not fight amongst themselves, this dua was not accepted. Narrated by Mishkat, page 502. Although floods and droughts have killed many people of this ummah, they have never destroyed the entire ummah because of the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. See how we elucidate the verses so that they understand. It is the grace of Allah that He has explained His verses in great detail, furnishing all the necessary proofs so that people may be guided. Your people deny this when it is the truth. Tell them, I am not an overseer unto you. Inflicting punishment is not the duty of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but is exclusive to Allah. For every proclamation there is a fixed term, and you shall soon come to know. This means that whatever has been proclaimed to people has a fixed period during which it will come to pass. Only Allah knows when they will take place, and people will come to learn for them is due in due course. Now, three more verses. 68 وإذا رأيت الذين يخوضون في آياتنا فأعرض عنهم حتى يخوضوا في حديث غيره وإما ينسينك الشيطان فلا تقعد بعد الذكر مع القوم الظالمين. When you see those who engage in finding fault with our verses, then turn away from them until they engage in some other talk. Should shayateen cause you to forget, then after recalling, do not sit with the oppressive folk. 69 وما على الذين يتقون من حسابهم من شيء ولكن ذكر لعلهم يتقون. The cautious ones are not at all accountable for them, but it is an advice so that they free. 70 وذر الذين اتخذوا دينهم لعبا ولهوا وغرتهم الحياة الدنيا وذكر به أن تبصل نفس بما كسبت ليس لها من دون الله ولي ولا شفيع وإن تعدل كل عدل لا يؤخذ منها أولئك الذين أبصلوا بما كسبوا لهم شراب من حميم وعذاب أليم بما كانوا يكفرون. Forsake those who take their deen, religion, as a play and sport, whom the worldly life has deceived. Advise hereby with the Quran, so that no soul is apprehended by its deeds. There shall be neither helper nor intercessors for her, the soul besides Allah. Should she offer every compensation, it would not be accepted from her. Those are the ones who have been apprehended because of their actions. They shall have a drink of boiling water and an excruciating punishment because they used to disbelieve. It happened once that Mu'mineen and Mushrikeen were sitting together when the Mushrikeen, having no reverence for the Quran, began to scoff and jeer at the Quran. Allah advised the Muslims, saying, when you see those who engage in finding fault with our verses, then turn away from them until they engage in some other talk. Should shayateen causes you to forget, then after recalling, do not sit with the oppressive folk. This subject matter has already been discussed in verse 140 of Surah Nisa, where Allah says, it has already been revealed to you in the book that when you hear the verses of Allah being rejected and ridiculed, you should not sit with them until they engage in other talks. Without doubt, in that case, you will be just like them. The objection is raised that it is necessary to associate with the kuffar for the purpose of conveying the message of Islam to them. It is said that unless one interacts with the kuffar, the message of Islam will not reach them. In reply to this, Allah says, the cautious ones are not at all accountable for them, the kuffar, but it is an advice so that they fear. This verse means that those mu'mineen who are firm in their iman, who recognize the truth from falsehood, and who will not be influenced by the criticism of the kuffar, may associate with them with the sole objective and advising them. Perchance they may take heed. The author of Ruhul Mani, volume 7, page 184, quotes from Abu Jafar Rahmullah that when the verse after recalling do not sit with the oppressor folk was revealed, the Muslims said, if we immediately get up with the mushrikeen criticize that Quran, we will then not be able to sit in the Masjidul Haram, nor make tawaf or of the Kaaba, because the mushrikeen will never stop their gatherings. On this occasion, Allah revealed the verse, the caution ones are not at all accountable for them, the kuffar, but it is an advice so that they fear. The verse told them that as long as they were practicing good and did not participate in the gatherings of the mushrikeen, they were not responsible for the actions of the mushrikeen. At the same time, they were not uh, to neglect advising them. Allah says, forsake those who take their deen, religion Islam, as a play and sport, whom the worldly life has deceived. However, one should not ignore them totally, but one should advise hereby with the Quran, so that no soul is apprehended by its deeds. Concerning those who have remained aloof from guidance and refused to accept the truth, Allah says that on the day of judgment there shall be neither helper nor intercessors for her, the soul besides Allah. The Anbiya alayhi salam were commissioned to convey the message, and it was only the foolish ones who do not accept. They will be subjected to the everlasting torments of Jahannam, when no ransom will avail any person. However, to save their souls, if they had the opportunity, they will try to pay their compensation. Allah says, should she offer every compensation, it would not be accepted from her. Allah had mentioned in Surah Ma'idah, verse 36, indeed, if the kuffar possessed whatever is in the earth, plus the life thereof, in addition to ransom themselves from the punishment of the day of judgment, it will not be accepted from them. There shall be an agonizing chastisement. This subject has been discussed on numerous occasions in the Quran. Those are the ones who have been apprehended because of their actions. They shall have a drink of boiling water. Allah says in Surah Muhammad, they will be made to drink boiling water that will slash their intestines to shreds. Verse 15. Added to this, they will have to suffer an excruciating punishment because they used to disbelieve. So the lesson from this is the above verses prohibits Muslims from attending such gatherings where Allah, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quran, or the Deen of Islam are denied or ridiculed. In many countries where Muslims are in the minority, the kuffar convey gatherings and organize dramas that ridicules Islam and the Muslims. They even invite the Muslims to these gatherings. Sadly, many Muslims ignorantly attend and tolerate them. The kuffar also write literature that derides Islam, and Muslims in universities and colleges read them in the name of research. This is also haram, as in attending such gatherings as mentioned above, it constitutes the disrespect and impertinence to hear or read discourses that mock Islam. If a person attended such a gathering innocently, then he should not delay to leave. As Allah says, after recalling, do not sit with the oppressive folk. There are occasions when it becomes necessary to reply to their mockery and abuse of Islam. In such cases, it is permissible for only such Muslims to attend these gatherings who are able to decisively debate the kuffar involved. The tragedy is that most Muslims do not educate themselves sufficiently in Islam. They spend years acquiring the knowledge of this world but are ignorant about Islamic beliefs, practices, and the teachings of the Quran and Hadith and the biography of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They therefore swallow the abuse of the kuffar and cannot contest them. Worse still is the fact that they are then influenced by the talk of the kuffar and begin to doubt Islam. Eventually, they develop such an inferiority complex that they listen to everything that the kuffar says without a word of objection. It is totally haram for such people to attend these gatherings. Even more surprising are those Muslims who go to the Orientalist educators in the Kafir universities to obtain some degrees in Islamic studies. In the course of their studies, their educators continues raising objections against Islam, mostly in the name of a critical analysis, thereby teaching them how to raise objections against Islam. They then attain their degrees by using the very answers furnished by these Orientalists and later propagate these to other students and their students when they begin to lecture. Thus, they preach the teachings of Islam's enemies. It is haram to enroll at such universities. Verse number 71. Kul anad'u min dunillahi ma la yanfa'una wa la yazurruna wa nuraddu ala akabina ba'da iz hadana Allahu kallazi istahwathu الشيطان في الأرض هرانا له أصحاب يدعونه إلى الهدى ائتنا قل إن هدى الله هو الهدى وأمرنا لنسلم لرب العالمين. 71. Say, leaving Allah, should we call on to that which cannot benefit us, nor harm us, and turn back on our heels after Allah had guided us? Should we be like the whom Shaitan had deviated from the path in a forest, leaving him bewildered when he has companions calling him to guidance, saying, "Come to us." Say, really, only the guidance of Allah is guidance, and we have been commanded to surrender to the Rabb of the universe. وأن أقيموا الصلاة واتقوه وهو الذي إليه تحشرون. To establish Salah and to fear Him, He is the one unto whom you will be gathered. 73. وهو الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق ويوم يقول كن فيكون قوله الحق وله الملك يوم ينفخ في الصور عالم الغيب والشهادة وهو الحكيم الخبير. He is the one who created the heavens and the earth with the truth. The day when He calls, He shall say, "Be," and it will be. His speech is the truth, and sovereignty shall be His on the day when the trumpet is blown. He is the knower of the unseen and the visible, and He is the wise, the informed. It is narrated in Darul Mansur that the Mushrikeen told the Mu'mineen to follow their way and discuss the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In reply to this, Allah revealed the above verses, that is, say, leaving Allah, should we call on to that which cannot benefit us nor harm us, and turn back on our heels after Allah had guided us? Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas anhu has mentioned that Allah has cited the example of a person who lost the way. His companions call him to the right path, but the shayateen are there fighting him so that he follows their desires. He thus stands bewildered and motionless. If he responds to the shayateen, he will be destroyed. But if he hearkens to his companion, he will be guided. When the kuffar call the mu'mineen to follow them, Allah instructs that they should reply, say, leaving Allah who has perfect authority to effect harm and benefit. Should we call on to that which cannot benefit us nor harm us, and turn back on our heels after Allah had guided us? Should we be like he who Shaitan had deviated from the path in a forest, leaving him in bewildered when he has companion calling him to guidance, saying, "Come to us"? This will be the consequence of accepting the advice of the kuffar. Say, verily, Only the guidance of Allah is guidance. Once a person has received guidance from Allah, he does not require any other recommendations, especially from the kuffar. Furthermore, the Mu'mineen are commanded to say, and we have been commanded to surrender to the Rabb of the universe, to establish Salah, and to fear Him. He is the one onto whom you will be gathered. How can one forsake Tawheed and the worship of Allah when one will have to stand before Allah on the day of judgment? He is the one who created the heavens and the earth with the truth, that is, with perfection. Resurrection is by means far-fetched, especially for Allah. He is omnipotent and doing things in extremely easy for Him. As Allah says, the day when I shall say, be, and it will be. His speech is the truth, and his shall be the sovereignty the day when the trumpet is blown. On the fateful day, none shall have any authority but Him. He is the knower of the unseen and the visible, and He is the wise, the informed. According to His wisdom, He will give retribution, and when He decides that the trumpet be blown to signal the day of judgment, only then will it be blown. Now, verse number 74 till 82. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. When Ibrahim told his father Azar, do you take idols as your deity? Indeed, I see you and your people in manifest error. 75. وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. Thus we showed Ibrahim the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, so that he may become of those convinced. 76. فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَىٰ كَوْكَبًا قَالَ هَٰذَا رَبِّي فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. When the night shrouded him, he saw a star. He said, this is my Rabb. But when it set, he said, I do not like things that set. 77. فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْقَمَرَ بَازِغًا قَالَ هَٰذَا رَبِّي فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَئِن لَّمْ يَهْدِنِي رَبِّي لَأَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الضَّالِّينَ. When he saw the moon shining, he said, this is my Rabb. But when it is set, he said, if my Rabb does not guide me, I shall surely become of the strayed nation. 78. فَلَمَّا رَأَى الشَّمْسَ بَازِغَةً قَالَ هَٰذَا رَبِّي هَٰذَا أَكْبَرُ فَلَمَّا أَفَلَتْ قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّا تُشْرِكُونَ. When he saw the sun shining, he said, this is my Rabb, this is the greatest. But when it set, he said, oh, my people, indeed I am innocent of the things that you ascribe. إِنِّي وَجَّهْتُ وَجْهِيَ لِلَّذِي فَطَرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ حَنِيفًا وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. 79. Really I have turned my face to the being who created the heavens and the earth, detached myself from all others and inclining only to Allah, and I am not of the mushrikeen. 80. وَحَاجَّهُ قَوْمُهُ قَالَ أَتُحَاجُّونَنِي فِي اللَّهِ وَقَدْ هَدَانِي وَلَا أَخَافُ مَا تُشْرِكُونَ بِهِ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ رَبِّي شَيْئًا وَسِعَ رَبِّي كُلَّ شَيْءٍ عِلْمًا أَفَلَا تَتَذَكَّرُونَ. His people debated with him. He said, do you debate with the concerning Allah when He has guided me? I do not fear what you ascribe as partner to Him, unless my Rabb wills something. The knowledge of my Rabb emphasizes everything. Will you not take heed? 81. وَكَيْفَ أَخَافُ مَا أَشْرَكْتُمْ وَلَا تُخَافُونَ أَنَّكُمْ أَشْرَكْتُمْ بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ عَلَيْكُمْ سُلْطَانًا فَأَيُّ الْفَرِيقَيْنِ أَحَقُّ بِالْأَمْنِ إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. How can I fear that which you associate as partners when you do not fear that you ascribe such partners to Allah regarding whom Allah has not revealed a warrant to you? So, which of the two groups are more worthy of safety? If you have knowledge. Now, verse number 82. الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم أولئك لهم الأمن وهم مهتدون. Those who believe and do not obscure their belief with oppression, only for such people will be safety, and only they are rightly guided. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam is considered to be the father of all the Anbiya alayhi salam who came after him. His nation lived in the vicinity of Babylon, which is situated in present-day Iraq. The king at that time was a person called Namrud, who claimed to be Allah. The people worshipped idols, and even the father of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam was an idolater. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, who was born as a believer of one deity, invited the people to Tawheed and underwent tremendous sacrifices for this cause. His confrontation with Namrud is narrated in Surah Baqarah, verse number 258 in the verse. Did you not see the one who disputed with Ibrahim concerning his Rabb? The incident where he was thrown into a raging fire will be discussed in Surah Anbiya and Surah Safat 21:37 respectively. In the above verse, Allah says, when Ibrahim told his father Azar, "Do you take idols as your deity? Indeed, I see you and your people in manifest error." In Surah Maryam, verse number 42, the address of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam also appears, where he told his father, "O my beloved father, why do you worship that which cannot hear, cannot see, and cannot benefit you in the least?" He also exhorted his father not to worship Shaitan, and that remaining as he was would invite the punishment of Allah. His father listened but refused to accept, and the blurted out, "If you do not desist, I shall surely stone you to death. Leave me to be totally separated from us." Surah Maryam, verse number 46. Ibn Kathir Rahimullah writes in Al-Badaya wa Nihaya, volume 1, page 104, that the people of Damascus and those in its vicinity worshipped 7 stars, and each of the 7 doors of Damascus bore the picture of one of those stars. They made offsprings to these stars and had feasts in their names. The 7 stars refer to the sun, moon, and the planets Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. It appears that the incident mentioned in this verse occurred somewhere near Damascus, after Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam had left his people. The incident was that he once saw a bright and shining star. According to Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, this was Jupiter, while Hazrat Qatada rahimullah maintains that it was Venus. As a lesson to the worshipper of these planets who were also present, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam said, "This is my Rabb." After a while, when he said, "I do not like things that said. That is, how can one worship something that that disappears and not there when you need it?" Therefore, the moon, being brighter than any star or planet, appeared. When he saw the moon shining, he said, "This is my Rabb." But when it set, he said, "If my Rabb does not guide me, I shall surely become of the strayed nation." In this way, he invited them to Tawheed in in a most unique way, and this statement alluded to them that they were a nation gone astray. When he saw the sun shining, he said, "This is my Rabb," since he knew that after the sun no brighter celestial body would appear. He added, "This is the greatest," knowing that the discourse was now to end. He waited for the sun to set, and then said most decisively without hinting, "O my people, indeed I am innocent of things that you ascribe. In this way, he impressed upon their minds that whatever they worshipped were the creation of Allah, and that he decides when they should appear and disappear. He meant to inform them that just as the absolves himself from worshipping these things, they could also refrain from the practice. Afterward, he went he went on to say even more ambiguously, "Really, I have turned my face to the Being who created the heavens and the earth, detaching myself from all others and inclining only to Allah, and I am not of the mushrikeen." Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam had already proven to his people the fallacy of their beliefs, rendered them speechless and declared his iman. Yet they disputed with him, saying that they had found their forefathers doing the same. They wanted him to rather become one of them. Allah describes the scene when he says, his people debate with him. He said, "Do you debate with me concerning Allah when He has guided me? That is, since I am convinced about my deen, how can I leave it for you?" It seems that they then threatened Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam with their false gods, to which he replied, "I do not fear what you ascribe as partners to him. These are lifeless and can do no harm nor any good." He then added, "Unless my Rabb wills something. Only in this case can anything happen to one. The knowledge of my Rabb encompasses everything. Will you not take heed? It is now only left to them to accept, since they have been presented with the detailed proofs of Tawheed. How can I fear that which you associate as partners when you do not fear that you ascribe such partners to Allah, regarding whom Allah has not revealed a warrant to you? It is not possible that these false gods should be feared when they do not possess the capacity of to harm anyone. The mushrikeen should rather fear Allah, since He is not capable of effecting good and harm. Whatever they fabricate has not been warranted by Allah, but rather condemned by Him. So, which of the two groups are more worthy of safety? If you have knowledge, the one group consists of those who accept Allah as their sole deity, while the other ascribe others as partners to Him. The second group are the guilty ones who threaten those who believe in Allah. The answer of this question can be ascertained simply by applying one's intelligence. Allah then replies by saying, "Those who believe and do not obscure their belief with oppression, only for such people will be safety, and only they are rightly guided." This verse declares the safety of those who possess true iman, that is, their beliefs and actions comply perfectly with the Sharia. The verse refers to those who do not obscure that their belief in Allah with shirk. Only their iman is acceptable in the sight of Allah. They believe in Allah, all His messengers, alayhi salam, books, the akhirah, hereafter, and everything that was brought by the Anbiya alayhi salam after the advent of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Iman will never be acceptable without belief in Him as well. Now I'll recite from verse number 83 till 90. وَتِلْكَ حُجَّتُنَا آتَيْنَاهَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَى قَوْمِهِ نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَّن نَّشَاءُ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ حَكِيمٌ أَلِيمٌ. This is our argument that we gave to Ibrahim alayhi salam against his nation. We raise the stage of whomsoever we wish. Verily, your Rabb is the wise, all-knowing. وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ كُلٌّ هَدَيْنَا وَنُوحًا هَدَيْنَا مِن قَبْلُ وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِهِ داود وسليمان وأيوب ويوسف وموسى وهارون وكذلك نجزي المحسنين. We gifted him with Ishaq and Yaqub. Both of them we guided. We guided Nuh from before and from his progeny Daud, Suleiman, Ayub, Yusuf, Musa and Harun. Thus we reward those who do good. Now verse number 85. وَزَكَرِيَّا وَيَحْيَا وَإِيسَى وَإِلْيَاسَ كُلٌّ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. and Zechariah, Yahya, Isa, and Elias, all of whom were of righteous. 86. وإسماعيل ويسع ويونس ولوط وكل فضلنا على العالمين. And Ismail, Yahya, Yunus, and Lut, each of them we favored above the universe. 87. ومن آبائهم وذريتهم وإخوانهم واجتبيناهم وهديناهم إلى صراط مستقيم. And from their forefathers, progeny, and brothers, we choose them and guided them to the straight path. Verse number 88. ذَلِكَ هُدَى اللَّهِ يَهْدِي بِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ وَلَوْ أَشْرَكُوا لَحَبِطَ عَنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. This is Allah's guidance by which He guides whom He wills from His bondsmen. If they commit shirk, then all their actions will be destroyed. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحُكْمَ وَالنُّبُوَّةَ فَإِنْ يَكْفُرُوا بِهَا هَؤُلَاءِ فَقَدْ وَكُلْنَا بِهَا قَوْمًا لَيْسُوا بِهَا بِكَافِرِينَ. These are the ones whom we have granted the book, wisdom, and apostleship. If the people of the present times reject the apostleship, then we have appointed many people who will not reject it. 90. أولئك الذين هدى الله فبهداه مقتدي قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين. These are those people whom Allah has guided, so follow their guidance. So I do not ask from you remuneration for it. It is but a reminder for the universe. The altercation, the altercation that Izzat Ibrahim alayhi salam had with those who worship the stars was an argument that Allah inspired in him. Allah says, this is our argument that we gave to Ibrahim alayhi salam against his wisdom. We raise the stages of whomsoever we wish. Well, your Rabb is the wise, all-knowing. The Anbiya alayhi salam were conferred with the highest stages, and among them there were also many equivalents. Allah says in Surah Baqarah, verse number 253. These are the messengers, some of whom we have given excellence over others. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam attained a high rank because of his sacrifices for the deen and the numerous debates he had with the people and sovereigns. Those Anbiya alayhi salam who came after him were all from his progeny. It is because of this that he is referred to as the father of the Anbiya alayhi salam. Allah then speaks of his progeny saying, we gifted him with the Ishaq and Yaqub. Both of them we guided. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam taught his children, they obliged, and they in turn taught their children. We guide Nuh from before. Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam is called the second Adam alayhi salam because all mankind issued from him after mankind was destroyed in the floods. It was his offspring that spread out on to the earth. Ruhul Mani, volume 2, page 211, narrated that Tibrani that Hazrat Abu Darda Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu has asked Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, O Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who was the first of the Anbiya Alayhi Salam? The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam replied, Nuh Alayhi Salam. There was a difference of 10 generations between him and Hazrat Adam Alayhi Salam, narrated by Mishkat, page 513. Hazrat Alayhi Salam was the first Nabi as mentioned clearly in certain ahadith, but Hazrat Nuh Alayhi Salam is allegorically referred to as the first. Certain commentators have mentioned that the name Nuh is not Arabic, and Allama Kirmani Rahmullah states that it is a Hebrew word that means something stationary. Hakim Rahmullah has mentioned that Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam's name was actually Abdul Ghaffar, and that he was called Nuh because he would constantly weep because of fear of Allah. If translated in Arabic, the name Nuh will refer to one who weeps abundantly. Narrated by Ruhul Mani. And from his progeny Dawood, Suleiman, Ayub, Yusuf, Musa, and Harun. Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam was the same person who killed Jalut. Allah bestowed him with nabihood and kingship. After him, his son Hazrat Suleiman alayhi salam became king and messenger, and he built Baitul Muqaddas. Ibn Jarir Rahmullah writes that Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam was related to Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam in the fourth generation. According to the historian Ibn Kasir Rahmullah, his mother was the daughter of Hazrat Lut alayhi salam. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam is known to be the grandson of Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam, that is the son of Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam. Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the son of a noble, 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 that is Yusuf, the son of Yaqub, the son of Ishaq, the son of Ibrahim alayhi salam, narrated by Bukhari, volume 1, page 497. The brothers Hazrat Harun and Musa alayhi salam are mentioned in numerous verses of the Quran. The Quran testifies to the fact that they were brothers, but there exists a difference of opinion with regard to whether they are real brothers or uterine brothers. Both their names are not Arabic. Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhum reports that in the Coptic language, Mu means water and Sha means trees. Therefore, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam was called Musha because as a child he was thrown between some trees where there was some water. Then, according to a law in the Arabic language, the Sha was changed to Sa, and the name thus became Musa in Arabic. According to certain scholars, the word Harun is a Hebrew name meaning someone beloved. Thus, we reward those who do good. They are rewarded just as Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and Hazrat Anbiya alayhi salam were rewarded before him, narrated by Ruhul Mani. And Zakaria, Yahya, Isa, and Ilyas. All of these Anbiya alayhi salam were also from Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam's progeny. Hazrat Zakaria alayhi salam was the father of Hazrat Yahya alayhi salam. Hazrat Zakaria alayhi salam had made dua to Allah for pure offspring despite the fact that his wife was barren. Allah granted him his wife in the form of Hazrat Yahya alayhi salam. In the time of Hazrat Zakaria alayhi salam, the wife of Hazrat Imran alayhi salam took an oath that she would devote her son yet to be born to the service of Baitul Muqaddas. However, she bore a girl whom she named Maryam and was to become Hazrat Maryam alayhi salam, the mother of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. The entire incident has been mentioned in Surah Al Imran. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam comes from the progeny of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam through his mother. Since he was born without a father, some commentators have thus concluded that the word Zuriya, progeny, also includes the children of one's daughters. There is a difference of opinion in this regard, the details of which are mentioned in Ruhul Mani. Some commentators have mentioned that Hazrat Ilyas alayhi salam was the son of Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, all of whom were all of the righteous. Each of these Anbiya Nabi alayhi salam possessed the quality of piety to the highest degree, that is, they practiced everything good and abstained from everything evil. The most righteous of them was Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, Yahya, Yunus, and Lut. Since this verse is also linked to from his progeny, an objection is raised that Hazrat Lut alayhi salam was not from the progeny of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. It is also mentioned that Hazrat Yunus alayhi salam was also not from his descendants. This objection is removed when we assume that this verse is rather linked to other verses like we have sent or we guided. Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam was the son of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was from his descendants. Both Hazrat Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi salam made the dua. Arab sent amongst them our progeny a messenger from them. Surah Al-Baqarah verse 129. referring to Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The father of Hazrat Yunus alayhi salam was Muta. Hazrat Yunus alayhi salam was from the town of Nanwa and was sent as a Nabi to them. His story is mentioned in Surah Anbiya alayhi salam, Surah Safat 37 and Surah Nuh al-Qalam 68. The detailed incident will inshallah be mentioned in Surah Safat. Hazrat Lut alayhi salam was the son of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam's brother Haran, his brothers Haran. He accepted the message of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and migrated with him to Sham. Allah made him a messenger and sent him to a few towns as will be mentioned to Surah Araf 7, Surah Shura 26 and other surahs. Each of them we favored about the universe since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is superior than all of these Anbiya alayhi salam. Commentators interpret the verse to mean that they were favored above the universe of their particular eras. The author of Ruhul Mani writes that this verse indicates that the Anbiya alayhi salam was superior in rank even to the angels. And from their forefathers, progeny and brothers, Allah has guided and favored the forefathers, offsprings and brothers of the Anbiya alayhi salam mentioned above. We closed them and guided them to the straight path. This emphasizes what has been mentioned previously. This is Allah's guidance whereby He guides whom He wills from His bondsmen. This verse teaches us that the guidance comes only from Allah. No person, be he a saint or a Nabi, can boast to others of the fact that he has been guided, since it is a blessing from Allah. If they commit shirk, all their actions will be destroyed. Shirk and kuffar destroyed all actions. The Anbiya alayhi salam have been protected by Allah from committing any sin. The verse, therefore, means that even if it is assumed that they were ever to commit shirk, it will destroy even their noble deeds. Therefore, a kafir and a mushrik cannot expect to gain any reward from their actions. These are the ones whom we have granted the book, wisdom, and apostleship. The book refers to all divine scriptures and wisdoms, refer to the reality of all things, as well as to the ability to judge between people. Nabihood, Nabuwa was conferred to all of them, that is, each of them was called a Nabi. All the Anbiya alayhi salam mentioned above have not yet turned Rasul. The reason being, according to some ulama, that a Rasul is a Nabi who had been given a new Sharia and a new book. All those mentioned above did not receive this privilege. If the people of the present times reject the apostleship, then we have appointed many people who will not reject it. Rejecting the apostleship will mean that one is rejecting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Quran. Because both the Quran and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam inform us of their apostleship. Some commentators mention that the verse "people who will not reject it" refer to the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, while others state that it refers to all the believers from the progeny of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, including the people of every century since man's inception. These are those people whom Allah has guided, as follow their guidance. This refers to following them in the basics of belief, that is, belief in Allah, His Messenger, His books, His angels, and the Day of Judgment. They should also be followed in their character, morals, piety, abstinence, humility, patience, fortitude, etc. Bukhari volume 2 page 709 reports that Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhu made sajda prostrated when he recited the 24th verse of Surah Sad 38, when his student Hazrat Mujahid rahimullah asked him why he performed the sajda. He replied, "Do you not recite the verses?" And from his progeny Dawood, Suleiman, these are those people whom Allah has guided, so follow their guidance. Hazrat Dawud alayhi salam was from those whom Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was instructed to follow. Since the verse of Surah Sa'd mentions that Hazrat Dawud alayhi salam made sajda, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also made the sajda after reciting this verse. According to Imam Abu Hanifa rahimullah, it is wajib to perform this sajda in Surah Sa'd, while according to Imam Shafi rahimullah, it is not. Say, I do not ask from you remuneration for it. Allah will confer the reward of propagating this message. Allah says in Surah Saba, say, you may keep whatever remuneration I may have asked from you. My reward is from Allah only, and He is witness over everything. Verse number is 47. It is but a reminder for the universe, since the Quran is a reminder for the entire universe. It is indicates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent as a messenger to the entire universe. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.